case for a federal charge on land value was published recently in the Australian Property Journal at the time the address was known.
Actually damaging taxation system. Let's time travel back to simpler days. So William Petty, 1623 to 1687, some hold him to have been the father of modern economics and its first econometrician. I don't know whether John would agree with that. But after conquering Ireland in 1649 to 1652, the first thing Oliver Cromwell did, was to assess its annual value. He wanted to know, what have I got there? What is its annual value? William Petty won the contract by using cheap labour in the form of Cromwell's by then unemployed soldiers. He trained them from scratch in valuation and surveying techniques and completed the valuation of Ireland. This is including training up people to be surveyors and valuers professionally within 13 months. So it was an incredible thing, but it was an incredible rate. Amongst some of his other achievements, Petty was a physician and he revived the corpse of Thames murderer Anne Green. He invented the catamaran, not knowing it had been already invented in Polynesia, of course. But a remarkable mind. Well before Ricardo, he knew of the law of rent, and he knew in fact that a nation's land rents were in fact the sum of locational advantage of one property in respect to another over the margin. In 1661, he noted that the year's purchase for Ireland was only 7 years, which is a yield of 14.3%. But obviously, after such a bloody invasion, I think Ireland has a reason to have high property yields at that time. He had a famous duel with Sir Jerome Sankey. He inferred that Sir Jerome's property holdings that he took for himself in Ireland were a little bit excessive, and Sir Jerome, one of Cromwell's more formidable knights, challenged him to a duel. So what else would Petty, who was notoriously nearly blind, do than say, fine, how about axes in a darkened cellar? So Sir Jerome decided that he had reason to review the seriousness of Petty's offensive and retreated gracefully. The modern neoclassical economist is absolutely clueless on the quantum of rent in the economy, the following being typical. Henry George's theory still has its adherents, likeable and mainly older people who overlook the fact that land rent forms such a small percentage of national income. That 2% is nothing compared to the present tax percentages, which are around 30. That was Yarn Penn from Groningen University. Unlike the patronising professor, the land value research group has bothered to quantify our national resource rent. In 2002, it was 27% of GDP and increasing, but more of this later. It's not uncommon to hear, as we are no longer a predominantly agricultural economy, a land-based revenue system is no longer appropriate. This, despite the fact that by far the greater part of economic rent is now located within our major cities. I saw that statement most recently from the Hope of the Society Labour Party, Lindsay Tanner. Land doesn't matter anymore. I like to say those sorts of people, they're not making any more land, it's not getting any cheaper. Even the computer chip comes from them. And it reminds me of a limerick. An economic analyst planned to live without access to land. He would have succeeded if found that he needed food, clothing and somewhere to stand. Let's come back a bit nearer to current times. Nikolai Kondratiev was a Russian economist. He researched 140 years of prices from the economies of the UK, USA, France and Germany, finding that the data therein described repeating cycles having a period of 50 to 60 years. He made no attempt to explain the cause of these long waves, but noted that there was an economic depression at the end of each cycle. Stalin exiled Kondratiev to Siberia as a spy because his studies had been expected to show that capitalism would inevitably fail. Instead, what Kondratiev showed was that after these depressions, capitalism seemed to be able to get up off the mat again and get started again, and that was not what Stalin wanted to hear. And although the modern neoclassical economist is not inclined to embrace the Kondratiev wave, in the 1930s the great economist Joseph Schumpeter confirmed its existence and held Kondratiev to be an economist of the highest order. These are Kondratiev's long wave cycles, or at least the three that he experienced. They start from 1789 in the Depression that bred the French Revolution, the American War of Independence, and nearly one in England that the Prime Minister William Pitt skillfully avoided revolution in Britain because he found a way of doing it by shipping his poor revolutionaries out to a new colony, New South Wales. From then we had a increase during the Industrial Revolution up to a peak in 1814 when debt and land prices got the better of things, and there was a general trend down to the depression of the hungry 40s. We had railways-led recoveries, this period there, in the UK and then in the USA. And let's remember that the railways recoveries, particularly in the US, made the rail barons rich, not so much the rail there, but the land, the permanent land that they invented. They made many millions, about 100 times more than they made out of rail beds. Anyway, up to the next peak in 1873, through the Civil War, debt for a number of reasons, and including land prices. There were still land price booms then, built up to an unsustainable level, and we tanked into an eventual depression at the end of the 19th century. We had our recovery, and at the peak in 1920, when Kondratiev wrote, he had foreseen another depression. We know that much, but we can only sort of speculate about the extent to which he was able to witness it from the Siberian gulags, the gulag in which he died in 1938. Instead of that idealised Kondratiev way, I've seen that in studying Kondratiev, I saw some of these, they said, no, it's not just a circle like this, there's ups and downs, and they were all idealised in their own fashion. So I thought, we want to do the real thing, why not get Australia's GDP year-on-year growth and graph it? And if that's not Kondratiev way, I will go ahead. We don't actually have a winter period there in 1952 because we've had our 30s and wartime recession, but we've got recovery coming out of that. So I'm being a bit metaphorical here. We have our spring tentative growth season, the summer season, and more recently, I'd argue very strongly that what we've witnessed is not Mr. Costello's magic in getting interest rates down. We're simply witnessing a hesitant deflation, and I can't see the Reserve Bank increasing interest rates in this scenario unless something else happens. But if things go the way of Kondratiev, we'll head into a steep winter decline. Notwithstanding what we think we know about Keynes, I don't think we will be able to pump prime in the initial stages of a major deflation. We'll put a lot of money into it, but I don't think it will work until a certain period. Anyway, let's put in the trend just to more clearly show the trend of the Kondratiev wave. You have the period of staggering growth for the first half and inflation. And although you have certain elements of growth on the deflationary side, it's quite clear which way things are trending. And lest you think, oh, and those prices you might note are in current prices, If we were to put the second half of that wave in real terms, if people aren't happy with current prices, we still have the same downward slope, and it probably only more graphically shows that we're moving into negative territory there. So whether it's current prices or in real terms, we've got that slope happening on the quadratic wave. I suggested to the Bureau of Stats that they can look at this for, they've got figures on long-term growth, and I said, you haven't got this crap. And I said, we'll consider it. I hope they do. Unless you think that's only happening in Australia. Here's the quadratic wave. I've got the same figures off the web. These GDP growth from year to year, and it peaked the year after us. It peaked in 1974. You can see it had a bigger peak. The US, there it is again. I think this is practical economics, and if we think that we can turn around the economy on sixpence and forestall quadratic winter, I want to know what we've done in tax policy that's going to bring that around. I really do. We're making all the same possible mistakes. We like to be comforted by the fact that we've got much better wages these days, have we? I couldn't get the figures for Australia, maybe I should have looked a bit harder. This is the average weekly wage in the USA for workers on non-farm payrolls in constant $1982.